here safely today. I pray that anybody else that's going to show today be with them. And I also pray that you open our hearts and our minds to Milosh's message today, and we take something away from it that could help us in our everyday lives, like Milosh always says. And I pray.
Amen. Do you guys remember what we talked about at Jenny's place? What? Huh? Say again? Eve? What? No. Eve? No? No, at Jenny's place. What were we talking about at Jenny's place? We did? Oh no, we did. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It's like no. You see, but here's the difference. I had a big concept in mind, you know, and I forgot the details. And now he said, like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was the.
That was actually revolutionary. I've never thought of Eve as that, putting herself in the place of God as a provider.
Yeah, it's
That was wild.
and in the next few weeks, we're gonna get to that point where we do that same thing with ourselves. Just kind of a spoiler. And I'll explain. Like, there is a biblical story that kind of makes a really good sense out of that idea. Oops. Sorry about this. I thought I had this muted. Apparently I haven't. Okay. We're going to talk about that. Like all of the places where we put ourselves instead of God, and that's why we lose connection with God. And then on top of it, all of the crazy ways that we could be connected to God and make our reality so much better, but we are not, because we think that it's impossible. But what I would like us to talk about today is kind of expanding the idea that we had at Jenny's. The idea of abundance. Open your Bibles, find Gospel to John 10:10, chapter 10, verse 10. Usually, very often, let's not say usually, but very often, Christians have a very hard time, it's almost a taboo, talking about abundance. Or if we do talk about abundance, we try to downplay it. And now a lot of people are going to say, no, that's not true, but I'm going to explain what I mean. So who would please read John 10:10? Go ahead.
The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly.
Thank you very much. Very peculiar verse. Very interesting. Now, it's always interpreted as, Jesus came to this earth, he gave his life, and now we can have that life. It's always interpreted in that esoterical, metaphysical way of abundance. But it's never really, it doesn't seem that nobody wants to say that's applicable in everyday life. That's what I would like us to talk a little bit about today. So this verse contains two characters here. Who are the two characters in this statement?
God and who he's giving.
Say again?
Is it God and the person he's giving the abundance to?
Okay, there's more then. Let's see, who are all of the characters mentioned in this statement?
The thief and the person who's been taken from.
So we have a thief, who's number one. Then apparently he comes to steal, kill, and destroy, which is directed to somebody else. And then that somebody else, the other side is, but I came to bring life and to bring it in abundance. Now, we have this person in the middle, which is me, which is you. This person in the middle is you. And you have thief on one end, who is destroying everything, stealing, making your life miserable. And then you have God on the other side, who is bringing life and abundance. Now, when we talked about abundance at Jenny's place, do you guys remember what was kind of the recap? What was the conclusion of what abundance is?
So it's like this mentality from scarcity to abundance and being able to have contentment.
Okay.
Actual happy contentment in the things that we have. So many times we believe that we need to have more So I
Okay.
feel like we're happy when there's a lot of people out in the world who have less and they're really happier.
So one aspect of abundance is being content with what you've got, right? Now, let's talk about that, what you've got. What is this, what you've got? What are we talking about when we see what you've got? Abundance in what?
I feel like everything, like happiness, food, money, like just things,
Okay?
everything that you have.
Basic necessities.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try to categorize this. We talked about this in back then as well. So one thing is the basic needs. Abundance in pretty much, do you have it in abundance, everything you need to barely survive? Just to be here, just to be alive. That's number one. Then, when that is fulfilled, we're moving to the next level of need, which is exactly, yes, which is the, yes, safety, which brings you to kind of like the mental abundance. Next thing is going to be a social, which brings you to emotional abundance. And then next levels are going more introvert, where you're talking about self-esteem and oops, sorry, Josh.
Talking about Maslow's.
Yes, yeah, exactly, yeah, yes, Maslow's pyramid of needs, yeah. And the reason why is because it really encompasses the whole idea of, okay, this is what a human being needs to be content. So the idea of abundance goes outside the material, way outside the material. The idea of abundance is having more than you need in basic needs, in material, in mental, emotional, and then self-fulfilling. That is the concept of abundance. Now, how does that actually look like in our world, in the world we live in? How do people label abundance in the world we live in?
Material.
No, this you said it first.
Sean, would you please be so kind just to open the back door? I think that someone is trying to get in. Sorry, somebody was.
Material items.
Okay. So one thing is abundance in material. That's kind of the big thing over here. It's like I can't remember who that was. Some soccer player. I was trying to remember the name because when I was going through this, I remember remembering the interview. I couldn't remember who the soccer player was, but anyways, successful, getting ready to retire. Oh, hello. Oh my goodness. So this is what happens. So he announces that he is about to retire, and he's a millionaire. He literally, like, he made a good career in European soccer. He has the fame, he has the money, he has all of these things. And he is getting a bonus check from the team that he is retiring from. And it's a huge bonus check. I don't remember anymore. But anyways, one of the reporters is asking him, okay, so now tell us, how does it feel right now when you have everything you want? And he's like, what do you mean? Well, you know, you got this bonus check, you can buy with it, whatever, anything you want, how does it feel? And he's like, I had everything I wanted way before I had my career. He's like, I love what I do. I had a lovely family. I have a beautiful circle of friends. I've had anything I wanted long ago. Like, this doesn't really change much at all, you know. And that's where and that was like a kind of countercultural statement that he made, saying that the idea of abundance goes way outside of the American dream of owning a home, owning a Corvette in the garage, and then taking a month-long vacation every year. You know, the idea of abundance is look around and ask yourself, do I have everything in my midst that is going to make me content? Because here's what Jesus says. So Jesus says, he makes it simple. He says, I came to bring you life and to bring it in abundance. So, technically, what Jesus wants to do is to do this. He wants you to look in the mirror, and he wants you to ask yourself, am I happy with where I am, with what I've got, with who I am? Because if you're not happy, you don't have abundance. What's up? If you are not happy, then something is wrong in your connection with Jesus. Now, let's remember, excuse me, sorry, my allergies are not giving me rest. Who were the three characters from the stories that we studied at Jenny's place? Thank you. Thank you. My eyes and my nose are just not. I thought that the weather is going to help it, but it's not.
It's been a week in your life. I've only seen that. I saw you last week while you were crying.
I see you again, so it just
It just hurts.
it just hit me like he walked in and like, oh no. So we had three characters we were talking about, and I want to talk a little bit about their abundance. So we have Martha. You remember the story of Mary and Martha. So Jesus comes to their home. They throw a party, and Martha does her thing. The second person was that rich young man who came to Jesus asking how to have eternal life. And then the third person we talked about is that blind man who was blind from his birth. Now, let's talk a little bit about their abundance before and after meeting Jesus. Bless you. Where is their abundance visible in their lives before meeting Jesus?
Their state of mind.
No. I'm talking about concrete examples of these characters. Like, for example, Martha. When you look her from a side, what would you say she was abundant in?
Preparation.
Say again?
Preparation.
Hospitality.
Or hospitality.
Hospitality. Okay, what would that be? What form of abundance would that be?
Neat,
Meeting cultural expectations.
Like
I'm talking about positive things. So, like, hospitality is a form of
supplies.
kindness.
supplies. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's true. That's one thing. Yeah. Obviously, there was abundance of food and drinks over there. So there was abundance of basics. That's for sure. They were beyond surviving. They were thriving based on the food and drinks they had in that home. What else?
Kindness. 'Cause she was like,
Okay, emotional. Yeah, there was a lot of emotional abundance as well. Yes,
Because they were in a home.
exactly. They had a home, safety. There was a crowd of people over there, so there was a social abundance and connectedness. And how does Jesus describe Martha's feelings? Do you remember? How did Jesus describe Martha? Martha, Martha, you're so freaking anxious. Remember that? Martha comes to Jesus and she yells at him, like, seriously, are you going to let my sister just sit over there and do nothing while I'm taking care of everything? And he's like, Martha, chill. You're so anxious out. So this is the question. Apparently there is a presence of abundance in her life. Material abundance, social abundance, emotional abundance, self-fulfilling abundance. You know, she is living the role that she loves. You know, that's right. But even with all of this abundance, Jesus says she is in distress. She had more than so many people in her village. But she was not living, as Jesus said, in life of abundance. Makes sense? Okay, what about that young man that came to Jesus? He is an even worse example than Martha.
Everything you could possibly ever imagine physically.
Yeah, literally. He literally had it all. He had the money. He had the fame. He had a social respect and acceptedness. He had self-fulfillment. You know, he was a thing. And then he comes to Jesus asking for more. But not more of physical. He's asking for more of, what am I supposed to do to inherit eternal life? You see? So, even though, like observing him from a side, you would say that this person has it all. Like they really have it made. Like their life is amazing. They have an amazing health. They have an amazing life experience from my perspective. From their internal perspective, they could be miserable. Because they don't have something that they need. And no matter how much from our perspective it seems, my goodness, if I was in your place, I don't need anything else. And he looks back at you and like, you have no idea. You have no idea how nothing all of these things are. Because for him, something was missing. And then the irony of the story is the blind man who was blind from his birth. What was the abundance that he had? Absolutely none. Completely inept to live in the society, forced from literally early age to beg and hope that he's going to get some kind of charity from somebody. Absolutely no self-esteem. Absolutely no basic needs are not met. Social needs, he was shunned from the society. Emotional needs, he was even shunned from his parents. You remember, his parents disowned him when they were asked, hey, what's up with your son? We don't know, ask him. He's been a burden long enough in our lives, we don't need any more burden from him. You know? So in every sense of the way, this guy had nothing. And then, out of these three characters, after meeting Jesus, he is the only one who finds abundance. What happens with Martha? What happens with Martha after this conversation that she had with Jesus? Do you remember?
Change your tone.
No, I don't think so. She kept on trying to serve.
Absolutely nothing. Yes, absolutely nothing changed. You know? She didn't get what she thought she needed to have her abundance. Jesus was like, you're not getting that. That's not going to change anything. You're not getting that. And Martha continues to do whatever she wanted to do. What happened to the rich young man? He walked away. Literally, Jesus is telling him, you want to have eternal life? This is what you need to do. No, that's too much. He had it all, and he had only one desire, and when he learned how to attain it, he walks away. Hungry for spirituality. And then you have this blind guy. Jesus gives him his eyesight back. And then you look at this story. It's a crazy story because you see this man, first, his emotional state is ecstatic. He starts running around and yelling and screaming and giving praise to God that his own neighbors who knew him all of his life would say, like, who's this guy? Like, you guys know this guy? Who's this guy? Yeah, well, you know, that's that blind. No, that's not him. You know, his demeanor changes. His attitude changes. His emotional, everything changed. And then they keep, you remember, they bring him for a grill to question him and to interrogate and see what's going on. And he starts answering intelligently, more and more. He starts responding to them with strong self-esteem, with strong intellectual basis, with like no fear of rejection anymore. No, I mean, it's amazing the amount of abundance this man gets just from receiving his eyesight back. He still had nothing. He was still dirt poor. He was still that same guy. The only thing is that now he could see. But that's all that he needed. Now you compare him and these two characters. What is abundance? remind me, what's his name? Eli. What does Eli need right now?
Nothing.
Exactly. He needs absolutely nothing. He is in his mama's arms. He is well fed. He's obviously well rested. He has a pen to chew on. And he is perfectly fine. Now, here's my question. Why do we need more than Eli to be happy?
Probably because the people around us have more than what we have, and so we see that they are happier. So then we're like, oh, so I need more to be happy.
One thing is social mimicking. We do, this is natural. We do this all the time. We look at people around us who are like us, and we have an impression that they are in better, that they're happier than we are, and then we try to rationalize it. Why is he or she happier? Well, they have this that I don't. So maybe if I attain that, I'm going to be as happy as they are. True, that's one thing, social mimicking. What else?
I mean, he has someone providing his needs.
Okay.
Yeah, can you give me a sugar mama? I'll be happy.
So, what does Eli have that we don't? Sugar, not, but now, but here's the thing. Does he know that?
Yes, he does.
Huh?
He does know that.
Oh, really? What do you mean?
Because when I'm gone and he can't find me, and it's a room of strangers, he's like, oh, no. You can't give me the comfort that I need.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So it's either you or nobody else.
Well, it's some people that he knows, but he knows when I'm there or I'm not.
Okay.
So.
So he knows, but here's the thing. Does he know that what I'm trying to say is this. For him, this is perfectly normal. You know? This is the way that life is. You know? And for us, looking at him and saying, well, he definitely has what we don't. I need to take care of my own needs and he doesn't. You know? And if he was left on his own, he wouldn't be able to survive. Makes perfect sense, right? Now, many of us, if we were left on our own, wouldn't be able to survive as well. Think about this. Just imagine, for example, you walk out of here and a black van pulls in, they put a bag over your head, and you doze off and you wake up, you don't even know where you are. You see palm trees, people are speaking a different language, you have no idea where you are, you're only in your clothes, and that's pretty much it. You try communicating to people, they don't understand you, they see...
Leave you there?
Huh?
Did they just leave you?
Yeah, they just left you there.
Oh, sweet.
Vacation.
You see how perspective of abundance depends. It has nothing to do with the environment you're in, but with the attitude you choose.
Vacation.
So even the kidnappers didn't want you?
Oh, that's it all. Jeez. That is a very, very awful way to see, to look in the mirror and like, you know, like you get a shirt, please kidnap me. Like, I'll be.
Back up and throw you back out.
Yeah.
Damaged goods.
Yeah. Now, the real difference, when Jesus comes, he's bringing life and abundance. He is not coming to change and alter what you've got. Because here's the thing, you're maker of your own life. You choose your material goods and how you're going to handle them and how much you're going to have. You choose your emotional state. You choose your social connectedness. Like all of these things are the things that you choose. Or you choose to live outside of those. Like the simplest thing is this. You want to have more money, get a better paying job. There are so many opportunities out there. The simplest things, because that's what usually, when I talk to other people about that, very often is like, well, you know, how can I choose? You know, abundance, material abundance, if I'm making only this much. Well, make more. I can't do that. You know, it's a choice that people make. Or people are in a need of social abundance, or social connectedness. But they also want to stay home, locked in their room, and not talk to anybody. It's like a constant battle between wanting to hang out with people and not liking them. Again, it's a choice. Every single one of these things, it's your choice. The only thing that Jesus does, he consolidates whatever you chose into an abundance. Into an abundance. Does that make sense? No, right? Huh?
Was it not supposed to make sense?
It was supposed to not to make sense.
I mean, I do and I don't. But then I'm thinking abundance, like we could have abundance of negative things as well.
No. Right now we're talking. That's what Jesus is not bringing for sure. No, but again, but on the same token, abundance of negative things is a choice as well.
Like depression.
Exactly. That
You can't just tell this, like at the job, you're like, okay, you want to make more money, go find a job and make more money. People depressed, like, stop being sad.
no, it's not the same. But frankly, I went.
Or finding the means to correct. Like,
Go ahead.
like with the job, like you want a new job or want to make more money, you find the means to do so. And with anything negative, you find the means to correct, to make it something into a positive. Like depression, you find help to correct.
Okay. Oh, okay, that's what you mean.
that
Okay.
part.
All right, hold that thought. We're going to get there. So you mentioned depression. Let's talk about this. Depression is abundance of negative, or focus on the negative. Now, here's the thing. And I know that this is so not popular to say, but the reason I dare saying it is because I went through my period of depression in my late 30s and early 40s, and it lasted probably like 3 or 4 years. And I remember getting out of it by choice. Because here's the thing. What is a depression? Depression is constant focus on the negative and making a reality like this is real. Like a negative is the only real thing. Like there is no reason for anything positive to exist. And then you talk yourself into it again and again and again. You get diagnosed with depression, you get prescriptions, and then you're screwed. Because the prescription actually keep you in that state of mild depression. You kind of never get out. But the whole point of depression is, it's so weird. Like they did those experiments back in before COVID, where they would instead of people who were diagnosed with clinical depression, they would literally pay them a month off, pay all of their bills, and send them on a vacation. Vacation was at a resort, and they had a full program to go through, and the program was like bird watching. It was sharing. They had like the choice of healthy foods. There was no, like, literally all of the things that were medically proven to kind of perpetuate depression were eliminated out of their lives. They say that the experiment was supposed to last for a month. They said that after 2 weeks, I can find that and I can share this resource if you guys want to read about it. I just have to dig in. After 2 weeks, 80% of participants felt healed. And they had like a depression that lasted for years and years, that they've been struggling with, they've been going through. 2 weeks, it was gone, because all of the things that were causing the depression, that were actually causing them to think in a negative ways, were removed from their lives. After they returned to their lives, most of them never went back to any kind of medications. But they say that the reasoning was the train of thought that they created through that month that they were on was so powerful that they say when the negative thoughts came, they just didn't make sense. Like it didn't make sense anymore to think in a negative way. You know, as I said, this is very countercultural to say in our society because like 70% of millennials are diagnosed with some kind of a depression, you know, and and everybody feels it's not my fault that I'm depressed, and then you become a victim of your own.
It is a fault if you're depressed because you're in control of your own brain. If you can't control your own thoughts, your own inner actions, then you can't control the exterior ones. So yeah,
But
have we all been depressed? Yeah, but you can't be depressed. Depression is the absence of gratitude. So if you can't figure out what you're grateful for, and I forgot where I read it, but it said it's like every morning I've been saying, okay, like because you wake up and you're just not in a good mood, right? So you're like,
you wake up and what?
and you're just not in a good mood.
Oh, okay.
You know, you have your routine.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
different.
Damn it, I gotta go to work.
Wake up grumpy. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, okay, what am I grateful for? I'm grateful that my parents are healthy. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for work.
And it literally takes a minute for the grumpiness to go away.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't take much. Huh? You have to do it more often.
I do believe that if we were to put ourselves in a healthier, like, food, environment, thought process, community, that there would be a lot of people who would benefit from it. But I also agree with the fact that there are some people whose chemical makeup has changed their brain, such as trauma, can physically change the brain, and it will transform the way that you process information. Not that it's impossible to try and get yourself towards healing, but it's going to be much harder than conventional means.
That is a different, the PTSD is a different, PTSD and trauma, whether childhood or whether like war-based or whatever it is, it's a different story. There is a cool documentary they did on that, where they were using like natural hallucinogens.
How to change your mind on Netflix?
Huh? How to change your mind, that's right. Yes. If you guys didn't watch that series,
Is it on Netflix?
yes, at least it used to be. I wouldn't be surprised if it's still there. It's called How to Change Your Mind. It's crazy. It's crazy, and it's talking exactly about the actual chemical imbalance that you're set on, and essentially what the hallucinogens actually help with is resetting it back to where it's supposed to be. And I remember like one of the guys, like who was like the main character of one of the stories, he says like after this, like I get the thoughts that I'm familiar with from back then, and they just can't fit in anymore. They like make absolutely no sense. Like I can't believe that I was even thinking that way, like back then. It's pretty cool.
I also believe that there is a chemical change within our environment too, because of all the terrible foods that we have provided to us, even the terrible water that we have provided to us, that change us internally, mentally even. So we have an uphill battle. It's possible, but it's still an uphill battle.
And that's what I keep telling. Like, we look at those old Western movies, you know, and we talk, oh, how hard it was. You know, they had to fight Native Americans. They had to fight each other. They had all these bandits robbing them, rattlesnakes, coyotes, leprosy, who knows what. Like, no wonder they were, you know, they were struggling so much, and we have such a good life today. Why are we so miserable? But actually, we are still living in the same state of mind. Just there is no more rattlesnake, but there is a toxic boss. There is no more leprosy, but there is depression. There is no more some things that used to be a problem before. Nobody's gonna, you know, attack you and rob you, most likely, you know, but you have to pay taxes, you know, so you get robbed anyways. You know? So, what? They. Okay.
I was also thinking, like, we as a society have not been building more mental fortitude as well. We've not been teaching this as well. So that's something, because I've been all of the things I'm saying is like from articles that I've been reading. And one of the ones was mental fortitude. We do not teach resilience.
Yeah, yeah, indeed, yes. And usually, why it's not even that we don't teach it, we don't understand it anymore, because we don't live in a state of hardship. And at least not in a state of obvious hardship. When I spent my teenage years in a civil war torn country, there is a lot of hardships that happen to you that kind of make things today, come on, you know? But if you live a life constantly under a glass bell, protected, and through all of your life, everything seems hard, you know? Anyways, let's get back. I don't want us to kind of stray away from the topic. I really want us to understand this whole concept of Jesus consolidating your life into abundance. So we already concluded abundance is not an external thing. It has nothing to do with how much you've got, whether material, emotional, mental, whatnot. It's an internal thing. It's an internal thing where you look at all of these things and you're like, this is awesome. Like my life is amazing, you know? And you have 10 times less than somebody who is next to you, and they're super miserable because they feel that they're lacking, you know? So, what did Jesus bring to the table that made all the difference in people's lives? What does Jesus do to make you be content and abundant in everything?
Well, for me, it's my thought process, because a lot of the times I'm like, man, I feel so like inadequate in certain things, but then God's like, no, you have life, you have breath, you have food. It's like the constant reminder of like, I have what I need. I'm not lacking in anything, and it's just like that shift in perspective.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, but what does Jesus have to do with that? You don't need Jesus to understand that.
He brings me peace.
Okay, how?
How?
Yeah, I mean, how does that bring you peace?
Because I could be so much worse. Like, I could have like a really terrible job like I did before.
Okay.
Not being able to pay my bills, not being able to like buy myself something that I want, or just
Okay, I get what you're saying. So pretty much similar to what Philip was saying about gratitude, where you just look at where you used to be, where you are right now, being grateful for it. Yeah, you can thank God for it. That's okay, but that's not what I have in mind when I say what did Jesus bring in.
I say Jesus brought hope, second, eternal life.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. What difference does it make to you knowing that you have eternal life? That was a beautiful smile you cracked when I said that. What difference does it make to you when you think about your life right now and realizing you're going to live forever? What difference does it make?
what fear is there to have?
Say it again?
What fear is there to have?
What fear is there to have? Okay, he takes the fear away. What else?
For me, I think it takes away the need of wanting to keep things here, like the attachment of things here. Like, oh, like I'm gonna be just fine. Like once we go to heaven, everything is kind of like pointless.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Knowing that we're not good enough is okay.
Okay.
Because
Feeling good about yourself, whatever
we
you
don't
are.
have to. We don't have to try to be good enough because it's something that we can never obtain. Because he obtained it, you know.
All right. When you think of where your life is headed to, there is an aspect of purpose in it, right? And there is an aspect, now every life has various types of purposes. We usually start with micro purposes. Like for example, your purpose is to make sure that he is good right now. Your purpose is to make sure that he is good. I was talking about Duke.
Good boy.
Yeah. But all of us have like this aspect of micro purpose that helps us keep going forward. So, like, you have a goal that you want to achieve. Like you have a 5-year goal. You have a 5-year goal. You have an idea. Okay, this is where I want to be. Okay, now I pursue it and I go for that goal. And once you reach that goal and accomplish it, okay, now we move forward. You know. But what Jesus actually brought to the table is a concept of a higher purpose. This is something that changed the life of a blind beggar. And this is something that this rich young man desperately wanted, but he was not willing to risk losing what he already had to attain this. A purpose. You remember, we were talking before last year about a divine purpose. You remember I asked you to really think about what is your divine purpose. You may have your earthly purpose, you may have your human purpose, you may have your horizontal purpose, but what is your divine purpose? We spent a month talking about that last year, so I'll try to sum it up.
Who are you outside of the characters you are in life, like work, life, family, mother, wife, whatever? Like, who are you outside of all that?
And not just outside of all that, but who are you that encompasses all this when you pray and stand before God? Here, okay, well, let's go this. Find Book of Acts, chapter 13. So, would somebody please read verse 36? Acts chapter 13, verse 36.
I'll read it. Now when David had served God's purpose in his own generation, he fell asleep. He was buried with his ancestors, and his body decayed.
Thank you very much. So, there is an interesting concept over here. He says for David, after he had served the purpose of God in his own generation, fell asleep and was laid with his fathers and saw corruption. The way that Paul portrays. Now, what was David's purpose? What was actually no David? What was God's purpose for David? Come on.
Was it to build a temple?
No, that was David's purpose. And he really asked God to give him that, and God said, no, you can't. Your hands are way too bloody. Your son is going to do it.
To love God. Because God loves being in his presence. Or like
Okay, he was God's favorite. That's true. But no, think about what you know of David. What was like the grand purpose of his life that he served? What kind of a king? Who was the first king? Okay, you guys remember who was the first king? Saul was the first king. Who wanted that king? Exactly. So people come to God and they say, we want to have a king. And Samuel is like, what do you need a king? You have God. No. All of our neighbors, they have kings. We want to have a king as well. And God is like, you want a king? Okay, you're going to get a king. But you're not going to like your king, just so you know. So he gives him Saul. And then David comes, and then, like Saul does all the stupid things that he does. And it's interesting how Bible says about David. He says he was a man after God's heart. His purpose was to be the king, not that people wanted, but that the people needed. And his life story is very, it's crazy. If you remember, like first part of his life, he was a runaway. He was a rebel because Saul wanted to kill him. And then after he becomes the king, things go in his favor until he starts doing stupid things. But this is the cool thing about David. David gets confronted about his stupid things, and what does he do? He repents. he turns back to God. David, in Bible, it's called the typos. So it's a Greek, like you have, he was a type. He was an archetype. Let's put it, that's good. So David was supposed to be a presentation of what God wanted his people to be like. Yes, he was fallible. Yes, he was making mistakes. Yes, he was far from perfect, but he always turned back to God. And God's people were quite the opposite. Remember, they were always boasting with their own righteousness, and they would always turn away from God. So God wanted somebody to show them, no, guys, this is how you're supposed to look like. This is how I want your heart to be. So that was David's purpose in life. And Bible says, when he served God's purpose, in his generation, he was laid to rest and his body decayed and so on. What am I asking you? What I asked you like a year ago. Your divine purpose is, what are you doing in this world for God? Not for yourself, but for Him. Because abundance is so intricately connected with your divine purpose that you literally cannot have abundance in this life if you didn't figure out your purpose. Here's another beauty from the Bible, where God talks about the concept of your life. Jeremiah chapter 29. Book of Jeremiah, chapter 29. Somebody read verse 11.
I'll read it. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future.
Now, you guys heard this verse before, right? You read it before. How does it sound? When you apply it to yourself, how does it feel? Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11.
Thank you.
It's a feel-good type verse because it's like he's providing. He's like he knows, like he has the plans for you. They're all laid out for you.
He is providing like Keisha is providing. Exactly. So God says, guys, I got it. I have plans for you. I have amazing plans for you. Plans that will be such a blessing to you. So, if God has it laid out, it just needs to happen, right? The reason it's not happening is why? Who is in the way? Not just us, but our logic. For Eli, as I said in the beginning, it's perfectly normal for him to be provided for. He knows that his mom is going to take care of him. The problem with us is that we don't believe that God is going to provide for us.
Kids make you feel like you're God in a different way. It's so weird because my daughter will cry. I'm like, you will get a popsicle. You just have to wait. It's coming. But like, you know, it's just reading the Bible. It's so crazy. It's like, man, I feel like a kid all over again parenting a kid who doesn't know, you know, just on a larger or smaller scale. It's like, you're going to be okay. There's something coming. You just have to wait for it, you know?
But you see,
having the biggest meltdown. So yeah, it's pretty eye-opening.
But it's so awesome when you think about it. You see her, you tell her popsicle is coming, but she is still breaking down. Yeah. Even though she knows that you're going to do it. We treat God in the same way. We treat God in the same way. But here's the thing. It's more to that story. So, Jeremiah chapter 29. We're not going to go through the chapter. But are you at all familiar what is written in Jeremiah chapter 29? Okay. So this is what's happening over there. Just before Jeremiah wrote his book, the people, God's people, were enslaved and taken to captivity, to Babylon. And as stubborn as they were, they were getting ready to rebel, and they were getting ready, they wanted to go immediately back to their country. And this is the crazy thing that happens. God says to Jeremiah, okay, go and tell them this. I want you to pray for the king of the land that I brought you to. I want you to build homes. I want you to plant vineyards. Now, if you know anything about the vineyard, you know that vineyard takes decades to grow. I want you to stay where I brought you right now, even though you think this is not a good place for you. I have plans for you. Plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and hope. And they are slaves in a foreign land. And God tells them, I have plans for you. Why is that? Why am I pointing this out? Even at that time, where it seemed to them that the life is just gone, that everything just shattered, there is no point to anything, God has a purpose. But they were not aware of their purpose, so they didn't believe that God wanted them to do that. If they were, they would be perfectly happy where they were. They would not be in their own home. That's right. They would not have the freedom and the liberties they had before. Yes, that's right. But they would be at their place of abundance had they believed. That's why I'm emphasizing so much this important understanding that your abundance, your joy in life, does not come from the things that you attain. Your joy in life comes from your alignment with divine purpose. Here's an example. Think about the life you live right now. How would you describe joy in life right now? And give me a second to. Like this morning when you woke up, were you joyful?
Yeah. Sabbath.
Huh?
Sabbath, right?
Sabbath, okay.
It was amazing. The
Huh?
rain. Like, I literally woke up and I opened up my window and then I went back to bed. I was like,
Oh, the rain.
so
Yeah.
tired.
Okay. When you wake up last week, did you have a morning that you woke up grumpy?
Friday.
What? Huh?
Friday.
Friday. Why?
I didn't want to go to work.
Work-life balance.
Huh? Work-life balance. Okay. Now, Friday, you lost your abundance. Today, you attained it. Joy is like a gauge. The amount of joy you have in everything you do, in wherever you are, reveals to you the amount of abundance you have. Like, for example, if you don't like your job, as you made an example, if you don't like your job, then pretty much waking up to go to job, sitting in your car to drive there, being stuck in a commute on the way, all of these things are going to be miserable. And then going and spending time over there is going to be miserable. So you're living in a complete state, and I'm just taking you as an example. I'm not saying that, you understand. You're living in a complete state of scarcity, robbed of all of your abundance, material, emotional, mental, like everything, self-fulfilling and so on, because you told yourself yesterday, I don't like my job. What can you do to be joyful?
I just turn on like a Christian radio, so I just listen to like a lot of Christian songs.
Does it make you love your job?
It helps me to realize I'm grateful I have a job, that I prayed for that job. So I'm like,
So you like your job just a little bit more,
yeah.
right?
Just
Try
a little
try edibles. It'll make you really
No,
grateful.
thank you. No. It's just the commute to work. That's the only thing that's bothering me.
Let me ask you this. What do you look forward? Oh, did you want to say something?
No, I thought you pointed to me and I was like,
Oh, yeah, no. What do you look forward to more? Falling asleep in the evening or waking up in the morning?
Falling asleep.
Sleep.
Depends. Falling asleep when you're sick feels the best. But falling asleep knowing you have to get up on a Monday sucks.
You see, I would love to have to wake up on a Monday and get up and go to school to work or something.
You see how again it has nothing to do with.
But like, I'm gonna be happy waking up tomorrow. I'm gonna go snowboarding. So it depends.
It all depends. So here's the thing. Again, this is another way to kind of measure the level of joy that you experience in your life.
You can't enjoy joy without having bad days. If you were joyful all the time, you wouldn't enjoy it.
We're not talking about the same thing. I'm not talking about happiness.
Okay.
Happiness and joy are two completely different things.
Okay.
They are connected, but they, like for example, you can be joyful without being happy.
Yeah.
When my dad died, I was grieving, but I felt there was an aspect of joy knowing that he is not suffering anymore, that he is not in pain anymore, that he is at peace. You know, so joy is not joy. Happiness and fun, they more kind of go together in a way, but joy is above that. Joy is more than that. So that's why I'm saying, and the reason why I said, what do you look forward to more? Falling asleep and forgetting about the day, or waking up in the morning and looking forward towards the day that is coming. So the idea of abundance is this. No matter what's coming tomorrow, you're looking forward to it. Why? Because I have plans for you. Plans for your goodness. I came to bring you life and abundance. So whatever is coming tomorrow, it's going to be awesome. I already know.
That's having that faith too. Like, waking up can be better because you're given another day versus falling asleep, you're not assured the next day.
Yeah, I think you're...
sort of. It's like,
Yeah.
I get excited to fall asleep because I'm just kind of like, well, it could also be seen like you're falling asleep and you're like, I can fall asleep knowing that there's going to be
Right.
a next day.
Okay, okay, yeah, okay.
That's
No, yeah, when you fall asleep in peace, you know, sometimes I just want to fall asleep so I cannot think about stuff anymore, you know. But then you wake up to those things that you were thinking about like a night before.
I would say the difference between joy and happiness would almost be like, let's say you're on a road trip, and then you're enjoying the process through the road trip, enjoying the drive, even if you're in traffic, and the happiness is actually getting there.
Could be.
Maybe.
I guess in a way, happiness. I don't see happiness necessarily as a destination, but I guess in a way you can use that that idea. For me, like today, what I really wanted to stress out is all of us strive for abundance. All of us want to live in abundance. All of us want to be present in every moment of our lives, saying, "This is so awesome." You know, that is what we aim for. That's why we work hard. That's why we try hard. That's why we put so much effort. The only problem is that we put so much effort in external things. They will bring the sense of abundance on a short term. But if you want a not lengthy, lasting experience of abundance, you have to look within. Because this is the last verse that we're going to read. I'll read it. Don't worry about finding it. It's written in first book of Peter, chapter 2, verse 9. So Paul, in the book of Peter, Peter says, and he's talking to the church at large. He's not talking to a specific church. He's saying this to everybody. And he says, but you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession, that you may proclaim the excellences of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Peter tells all of us this: you guys, all of you are priests of Jesus. All of you are blessed by the soul nature of your spiritual origin, that you're children of God. And he's got a job for you. He's got a job for you. Proclaim the excellences of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Whoever you are, whoever you're with, wherever you are, whatever you've got, your divine purpose, and that is all of our shared divine purpose, is to tell everybody, not necessarily with words, but to present to everybody the goodness of God. Like how awesome it is to live in this world, how awesome it is to be part of this divine love and salvation, how amazing it is to wake up to tomorrow, not knowing what it brings, but you know it's going to bring some good stuff. How beautiful it is to be here connected with my brothers and sisters, children of God as well, sharing and learning from you. I am so content. That is a divine purpose that we share. But again, every one of us has our own unique divine purpose. And that is what I told you a year ago. And now I'm getting back to it because I realize how important it is. If you want to live in a state of abundance, you need to reconnect regularly with your divine purpose and focus on it and live it. I kid you not. You will start waking up happier and happier every day. You wake up sick, as I often do lately, but I'm fine, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm sick, it's going to pass. In a few days, I'll be fine. It's miserable right now, but I feel like I'm okay. I'm beyond okay. I really enjoy. And the reason why I understand this is because I remember a period of my life when I didn't want to wake up, when I didn't want to go out in the world, when I didn't want to see anybody, and I have to preach in Nevada, or I have to have a Bible study, or I have to get somebody ready for baptism. And I don't see a purpose to any of it. All I see is I remember being miserable in my darkness and my pain. But that was because I was so focused on negative aspects in my life that the positive ones started kind of fading away. And when I started reconnecting with my divine purpose, when I started looking for it again, and when God started more and more revealing it to me, I started becoming more and more positive. Yeah, I have bad days. And we talked about my bad days this week. Yeah. So I definitely have days when I'm frustrated, when I'm tired, when I'm irritated, when a whole bunch of things. Some of you guys know better than others, but working with people is sometimes you just want to quietly strangle them, just seriously. It's it's okay, that's fine. Everything will be over soon. But here's the thing, even in those moments, yeah, those moments come and go. But my abundance stays because it's not attached to the external anymore. It's attached to my life that I have, to my vertical life, to the purpose that God has for me. And here's the thing. Today I'm a pastor. I don't know what's going to happen next year. I might not be a pastor anymore. I'm not giving any kind of hints or anything like that. I'm just saying, this has no, no. Yeah. This has nothing to do with what I do. Even if I move on to some another calling or start doing something else with my life, this stays with me. No matter what's happening in my life, this stays with me. And I really want you guys to be joyful every single day in abundance of what you've got. Because once you attain that, that's salvation. That's when you feel you're aware of your salvation every moment of your life. And like people stop annoying you, situations stop disturbing you. You kind of observe yourself being annoyed for like 5 minutes, and then after that you laugh about it, instead of rerunning it again and again through the rest of your day, and allowing one shitty moment making it a shitty day. Abundance is at hand. Right there. Instead of seeking abundance, you seek your divine purpose. And abundance comes to you in every sense of the way. Any questions? Lovely. Does it make sense what we talked about? All right. Let's then have a prayer and close our study. Let's volunteer somebody. Uh-huh. First, yeah, of course.
Thank you for today, and for giving us the opportunity to come together and worship you, learn more about you and our divine purposes. Please be with us throughout the rest of our week. Help us to apply this to our lives and to remember you and all that you've done for us. In your name we pray. Love you, Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
You're teaching me with my imperfections, reaching me when I run the other direction. I'm undone, unraveling my plans. Make me whole again, rebuild me from the inside out, in a way only you know how. You're teaching me